This morning, the Council of Bishops brought back a proposal requested by the body for a way forward. And the proposal outlines that the bishops will select a commission with representation from all of the areas in order to holistically look at human sexuality and the Book of Discipline.
We've spent the entire day talking about whether we would accept that recommendation or not. We asked our bishops to lead. The question was, would we let them?
It seems like leadership came up a lot on the floor. Folks were continually saying, we asked our bishops to lead. I don't think that there's consensus about what leadership means. You could see that with the close nature of the vote on supporting or not supporting the bishop's proposal.
The conversations have been heated, and while it was overwhelming support to ask for the plan, it was a very, very close vote as to whether we would accept it. Much of what we heard seemed to want to deal with the issues we came to deal with. There was pushback about having to wait. The plan would have us take the next 2 years in a process that would look across the worldwide denomination at all of the petitions in the Book of Discipline that have to do with human sexuality. And perhaps even have a special session in 2018 or 2019 to talk specifically about those pieces.
For me, I'm looking forward to the commission and the report of the commission. I do wish that there was something that could happen quicker. I want the United Methodist Church to be truly open and affirming and ordaining of all our lesbian, gay, transgender, queer, identifying brothers and sisters. And I want it now.
My feeling was today there was a group ready to say, let's talk about that right now. Let's not put that off. We've come ready to talk about something. Let's make that decision now. Will we stay together? Will we come apart? The bishop's plan gives us space and time to say, if the United Methodist Church chooses to untie, what are different ways we might untie? There are many ways to unite. We have one of them. There are others. The 2 years gives us a chance to figure that out.
What's exciting about this proposal is that it will take a holistic look of the Book of Discipline and human sexuality. This is my 3rd general conference, and the past 3 general conferences, I've seen the different committees look at fragmented parts of the Book of Discipline and try to address the issues of human sexuality that pertain to their committee. What's different and exciting about this commission is that it will take a holistic look and provide an answer for the entire Book of Discipline that the church can then decide on.
I really don't know, because in that room are people like the delegation from Pacific Northwest who spent the entire year looking at the legislation in front of us, ready to come to talk about the legislation. There are delegations all over the world who are saying the same thing. We've come to talk about the legislation. And there's legislation in front of us to work with that's really important. Some of it has been set aside very appropriately with the bishop's plan.
I think that the bishops calling this special commission means that the church has a chance to holistically look at the issues of human sexuality, possibly even pull out the ways that it addresses human sexuality from the Book of Discipline, that in contexts that are not as accepting and affirming, they might discern what to do in this area, and that we will continue to be an open and affirming and welcoming church in my home church and in the Pacific Northwest Annual Conference.
But it really feels like there is something under the surface at work here that has a totally different agenda, that would like us to talk about something other than what we've come to talk about. It feels at times, whether it's in committees or some of the subcommittees or on the plenary floor, there is some group or groups who would have us talk about something other. It feels like they would like us to talk about splitting, and they're happy when things get disruptive here. It's a very uncomfortable feeling when you're wanting to talk about what you're here to talk about, and everyone's prepared, and you feel gently herded into places you and others don't want to go. So we're trying to stay awake and present to all of the forces at play here.
I do believe in the conversations that happen on the sidelines at General Conference. I come back to General Conference time and time again because the relationships that you build are how a difference is made. And I've seen that in the Financial Administration Committee, where the predominantly white, old, male committee welcomed and accepted my viewpoints that were very different than theirs. I've seen that around the table where I sit, where 3 French-speaking delegates and Mary and myself can build relationship, though we disagree on some issues.
When there is the space and time, the people I have found here are so ready to talk. I sit at a table where 2 of us speak English and 3 of us speak only French and Swahili. Today was the first day in 8 days we've been able to talk beyond how are you, good day, did you sleep well? Because we finally hijacked someone from another table who spoke French and adopted her into our group to say, help us talk. It was the best conversation we've had all week.
I believe that by telling my story and by grounding myself in my own context, but remaining open and hearing the contexts of others and the stories of others, I can truly see what it means to be a global church and how the church can act for the transformation of the world.
We often ask clergy leaders and lay leaders in our congregations to lead, but are not always happy when they do. And so there are times when we need to work better at what does leadership mean, what is the leadership we're looking for, how do we lead together, and to be transparent about that. So there's a conversation about leadership that this implies. I think it also, the staying awake piece is important for every local church. I don't know about your committees, but there are times you can go to a committee and you kind of sleepwalk through it. You come knowing what you're going to talk about, and so you just talk about what you know you're going to talk about. And staying awake means like never knowing how Spirit's going to break in. Being aware of the dynamics in that room at the moment, the dynamics in the church, and the dynamics in the community. What's at play? How do we participate? How do we cooperate? How do we collaborate with what's going on around us and build from there?